Welcome to the Heal Your Hunger Show, where we get to the heart of why you overeat and how to stop. If you struggle with food and weight like I did, welcome home. Welcome to the Heal Your Hunger Show. You made it. You're here. Yay! I'm so psyched for this topic today. It's going to be a good one. So fasten your seatbelts. We're going to go right through this. It's not going to take a lot of time to get my point across, but this is important information. Is it ever a good time, or is there ever a time when it's appropriate to be hard on ourselves? You see, emotional eaters are so hard on themselves, right? I mean, we are relentlessly criticizing ourselves, constantly nitpicking. I'm too fat. My legs are chafing. I've got cellulite. My nose is too big. My hair is the wrong color. My grays are coming through. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And then out in the world, why did you say that? That was a dumb thing to say. You don't look good. Everybody else looks better. You're not doing a good job. You're stupid. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Between our ears, we have the most mean and hateful and just self-condemning thoughts. And nobody can ever heal in that environment. So self-criticism is never going to motivate us to do the right thing. But I have to tell you that chances are, if you're an emotional eater, you'll never be motivated to do the right thing when you're just trying to eat right or just trying to lose weight. Because when you're approaching your food problem at the symptom level, you will fail. And so all the failures that you've had, the 90% of all the diets you tried, and the reason why they failed is because you're attacking it at the symptom level. See, overweight is a symptom of overeating, and overeating is a symptom of what's eating you. So we have to approach it at the causal level. We have to get to the root cause if you expect to get any success. So being hard on ourselves around food and weight is futile, 100% futile. If you break out a binge, or if you eat something that you swore you never eat again, or you shouldn't eat, or if you lose control and you eat every bit of it in sight, if you step on the scale and it's 5 pounds more than it was last time, or 10 pounds more, if you've let yourself go for the past 6 months and you're 50 pounds overweight now, none of that is reason to beat yourself up. So I'm here to say, stop it. Just stop it. You are not in control of food and weight. Okay? If you're an emotional eater, and hopefully you've taken my emotional eating quiz, it's on the website, healyourhunger.com. If you take that quiz, you're going to get a personalized score, and that score is going to tell you where you are on the emotional eating spectrum. Now, you're either an emotional eater or you're a food addict. The food addiction is at the top of the spectrum. That's me, okay? That's how far I took it. You may not have taken it that far, so get your personalized score. But know that if you're on that spectrum and you lose control of food and you lose control of weight, it's not your fault. This is a symptom of something much deeper. And so all your efforts to control your weight, to diet, to weigh and measure, to jog it off, run it off, exercise it off, to beat yourself up in the gym, to do all kinds of shenanigans around controlling food. All the things you've tried haven't worked because they're not supposed to work. Those are symptoms. The weight is a symptom. So what we need to do is get off our own backs when our efforts at controlling food and weight fail. You cannot ever win by controlling food and weight if you're an emotional eater. You'll always go back to the food. You'll always bust out. And so I want you to just right now take a minute and just put your hand over your heart and say, "Oh, little sweetheart, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I was so mean for so many years, chastising you, flagellating you, beating you up because you didn't do right." That's the little girl in us who can't help herself, okay? Now, self-compassion is the only way to go when it comes to food and weight, but there is a time and a place for, I wouldn't say being hard on ourselves, but I would say for being disciplined. Now, discipline is a really dirty word when it comes to food because we don't have discipline around food. So I'm not talking about discipline around your eating habits. I don't have discipline with my eating habits. But what I do have, and when I do, hold my butt to the fire, is around my self-care disciplines. This is where I could use being a little bit harder on myself, and I think you could too. So this is the only place where I believe it's valuable to push yourself and to really be a little bit stern, like a strict parent with yourself. We need discipline around self-care habits because self-care is going to be the foundation of our breaking free from emotional eating. Okay, what do I mean by that? Well, if you've ever taken my program, 10 Weeks to Freedom from Emotional Eating, if you've ever read my book, Heal Your Hunger, 7 Simple Steps to End Emotional Eating Now, if you've been tuning into my podcast for a while, you know that there are 6 self-care success secrets that I teach people and that I practice on a daily basis, which are the foundation of my being able to live in a thin body one day at a time. So I am thin today only by the grace of God and the practices that help me access that grace. So I hope you're tracking with me here. I'm not thin because I have any control over food and what I eat and my weight, okay? Over those things, I am truly powerless. I have no willpower to eat the right thing or to lose weight or even exercise. So what's really important to me is that I do the things that make eating right possible. I do the self-care secrets that make saying no to ooey gooey chewy foods possible and often easy. I do the things that make it possible to remain calm and emotionally balanced in stressful situations, stress that would cause me to overeat. So this is where I push myself to have discipline. Now, I meditate twice a day, and I've been doing this for close to 30 years now, and I'm so grateful for this discipline. And all discipline isn't willpower for me. It's also the grace of God. But I do push myself at times when it's hard. The other day, I went to the acupuncturist and late in the afternoon, and I had a really peaceful time while the needles were in me, and I was laying there, and the music was playing, and it was just my acupuncturist is the best, and he makes it feel so safe and just such a warm environment where I go and get his help. So I conked out. I had an amazing nap. And then when I woke up and I headed home, it was close to meditation time. And I thought to myself, I've meditated. I was at the acupuncturist and I conked out and I had a nice rest. That counts, doesn't it? Well, some people might say yes, but in my value system, meditation is meditation and sleep is sleep. A nap is a nap, and it's not meditation. So I was having that little conversation in my head, trying to rationalize not meditating before dinner around 5 p.m. And I had to push myself. I said, Tricia, what's worked for you for 30 years is to meditate twice a day, once in the morning before breakfast and once in the afternoon before dinner. And I am so strict with myself about this that, for me to consider not meditating is really a bad decision. It's a bad decision and it leads to a slippery slope of other bad decisions. And that's the problem with bad decisions. One little decision to not meditate one afternoon, not a big deal. But in my psyche, in my value system, when I let one thing go, I tend to let other things go. I start to get mushy and not care if other things go. And so it's really important to me that I stay disciplined. And so I pushed myself to meditate. And because I wasn't really tired anymore, it wasn't really that easy to meditate. I wasn't like falling into my meditation. I was just sort of like biding the time until I could go eat my dinner. But I did it anyway. And I did it because this discipline is so critical to my freedom from emotional eating, even though it has nothing to do with emotional eating. Meditation is what we're talking about here. But it's so connected to my relationship with food that I didn't want to let it go. You see, I don't beat myself up, around food thoughts or if I'm feeling tired or eat a little bit too much. I mean, it's always a symptom of something deeper. It's a symptom of not doing my practices. It's a symptom of stress. It's a symptom of being too tired. Again, all related to self-care. And so it's really important to me that I don't beat myself up when it comes to food. If I'm carrying a few extra pounds on my body, it's a symptom. I can't, it's useless for me to beat myself up about that. It's like beating somebody up, who doesn't have a leg. They can't help it. When it comes to food and weight, I don't have power, but I have a definite choice when it comes to my self-care practices. And so I push myself to do them. This means my walking and praying in the morning. This means praying on my knees in the morning and at night. This means my spiritual readings that I like to do. These are things I can do something about. Now, do I beat myself up if I don't do them? No. But what I mean by being hard on myself is I do push myself to toe the line when it comes to my self-care practices. And I want to suggest that you do the same, that you don't use the same, method that you use around food, which is self-compassion and love. And not that self-compassion and love isn't necessary when it comes to self-care, but there is a time and a place for me to hold myself accountable. And that's what I'm talking about. It's not about being hard on yourself, but it is about holding yourself accountable. I think too often we're so tired of beating ourselves up when it comes to food and weight that when it comes to other things, we cop to, oh, I don't want to beat myself up, or I don't want to be hard on myself. It's okay. And we rationalize making choices that are deadly for us. For me not to meditate could take me down literally a deadly slippery slope. Dramatic, yes, but true, okay? When I let one thing go, I let a whole lot of things go. And before you know it, I'm in that dark, dark place of binging. And I don't want to go there. So I am hard on myself and hold myself accountable to doing my self-care practices. And I, really push myself to toe that line. And there's nothing wrong with that. And so I want to encourage you to not cop out when it comes to doing things that are self-caring, when it comes to setting boundaries, when it comes to saying no to other people who are, putting demands on your time, when it comes to getting enough rest, when it comes to drinking enough water, when it comes to going for that walk, even if it's 10 minutes, even though you don't feel like you have the time. All day long, emotional eaters make excuses and rationalizations for not doing the things they need to do. And I will create a bubble around the food stuff, although I do also need to have discipline around making sure I have the right foods in the refrigerator. But what I'm talking about is not being hard on yourself around food and weight and being hard on yourself when it comes to self-care. That is a must when it comes to overcoming overeating. It's a must. And so I ask you to step it up, okay? There is a time for some tough love, and that's now. When it comes to self-care, you must do this. You must start taking care of yourself. You must stop rationalizing, letting things go, letting your self-care go, letting your disciplines around taking care of your body and your soul and your mind. Don't let those things go. You can't afford it. And if you feel selfish for giving yourself the time to meditate, if you feel selfish for telling your family, I'm going out for a walk for 10 minutes, if that feels selfish to you, you've got it all wrong, okay? It's not selfish to take time for you because that will enable you to be more grounded and centered and to be more available in a loving way for your family. It'll help you be more clear-minded at work. It will help you say no to foods that are unhealthy for you because you've taken the time to get rest. You've taken the time to respect yourself and show yourself some love. So that's when it's time to be accountable, be disciplined, and be a little tough on yourself, okay? Is around putting self-care into your lifestyle and keeping it there. And this is a struggle. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It's a struggle for me. I have those moments where I just don't want to do it. I want to blow it off, but I can't afford to because I'm so powerless over food, because I am so beaten by food and by my, how easy it is to gain weight. I have to be disciplined in other ways because I have no discipline around food, and it makes a huge impact. The reason why I'm thin today is, again, by God's loving grace and the practices I do on a daily basis that enable me to access that grace. So I hope this makes sense. It's a little bit of it's kind of a difficult topic to articulate. Hopefully I've done it well enough that you get what I'm talking about. It's time to step up that self-care. You can do it. You deserve it. Don't wuss out, okay? Don't wuss out. That's my message for today. Don't be a wussy. Hold yourself accountable. Choose those disciplines that will help you feel better about yourself, and then see the impact they have in your relationship with food. So thanks so much for being here. Please share this with your friends, and please come back for our next show. Take good care.
If you enjoyed this show and want to get free support, insider health info, exclusive invites to events, and more, visit healyourhunger.com.